Welcome to the podcast that earned recognition first in 2019 and then again in 2020 as one of the very best podcasts in the marketing research industry. This is Research Business Daily Report, the industry's only daily research video blog. And because you're watching us today, we can't let the situation go by without asking you to please lend your support for this research news video series. We'll tell you how you can do so at the end of today's report. I'm Bob Lederer, now in my 26th year as the respected voice in market research. Digital Mortar's Gary Angel doesn't flinch when it comes to measurement. He's an expert in it, and in particular, people measurement during the pandemic has gathered a lot of his attention. And we can all thank him for that can-do attitude. As one example, today Gary has ideas for critical insights in the fast casual dining field. His possibilities knocked me over when I watched his explanation, and I'm curious if you're going to feel the same way. I think it's outstanding stuff. Without further ado, Gary?
Thanks, Bob. I'm Gary Angel with the Measurement Minute. The applications for people tracking are different for every kind of business. And for some kinds of businesses, they're just more obvious and compelling than in others. But what about something like fast casual restaurants? With a fast casual restaurant, the layout of the restaurant is simple and straightforward. The line is critically important, but it's heavily engineered, and customers have very little choice about the way they navigate it. And almost everyone who comes in the door is going to buy a meal, so people counting isn't very interesting. So given that, are there applications for people tracking in the fast casual restaurant space? Well, there are actually, and it starts with that all-important line. One of the most interesting kinds of projects that we do in the fast casual space is around line gamification. It might be expensive, hard, and a very occasional process to re-engineer the line, but you can still make lines better by making employees more engaged with the process. Gamification does that. What gamification provides is instantaneous real-time information about how crews are performing, not just against themselves and their best, but against other teams around a city. That gets them really engaged in the process. It gets them competing to make the customer experience better, and it's a way to improve throughput across the board in all of your stores, as well as measuring the performance of different teams and potentially incentivizing crews for doing a really good job. All of those things are really vitally important to customer experience, and they drive to a second aspect of line measurement with people tracking. Line abandonment is one of those concerns that most fast casual restaurants have, but they really have no idea whether it's a serious problem or something that just lives around the margins. By measuring cues and how people are moving through the line and measuring the back end of the line, you have a chance to really measure when, where, and how often line abandonment occurs, and that's something that can make a big difference to your business. Now, you may be asking, well, I may have abandonment. Well, what can I do about it? Well, these days, there actually are some solutions. We've invested a lot in the last year in our virtual queuing product, QMe. QMe is a simple SMS-based solution that integrates with digital signage, integrates with your applications really, really seamlessly, doesn't require a mobile app or anything on the customer side, and lets them very easily queue up. It also lets you notify them when their order is ready. It's a great solution for managing virtual queuing, for giving people a really nice alternative when they don't want to stand in line, and making it safe and super convenient and easy for them to do things like curbside pickup and allow you to notify them when their order is ready. Solutions like QMe are really cheap to do, really simple to integrate, and they can have a dramatic impact on customer experience. It's one of those technologies that clearly has come about because of COVID, but I think can actually leave post-COVID processes better than before COVID came along. And speaking of COVID, one of the real changes that we've seen in the last 9 months in our business is a tremendous uptick in interest in the measurement of internal people processes, the way employees are actually executing at their job. That's critically important in a fast casual restaurant. It's all about the people, how well they're doing their job, how efficiently they're executing the processes. But with COVID, a lot of those processes have been disrupted and changed, and people are really interested in understanding whether things like kitchen layout and line layout and the instructions and training that they're giving employees, whether all those things are combining in ways that are still as efficient as possible. People tracking lets you measure the way processes are being executed. We actually deliver a capability called full session replay that lets you see exactly how people are executing processes in a space. It's an incredibly powerful and interesting technology, not just to understand compliance, even compliance around simple things like hand washing. Are people doing the 2-second wash, or are they actually doing it the way they're supposed to? That's really important in today's world. But if you've re-engineered the way the kitchen works, or the way processes are done, or the way curbside pickup is done, wouldn't you like to know whether crews are compliant? And if they are compliant, whether those processes are really designed in ways that are maximally efficient and allow them to do their job as well as possible. That's the kind of detailed information that people have never had before. But with people tracking and people measurement, you can actually do that kind of measurement. And what's more, you can do it anonymously so your employees don't feel compromised. So yes, even in the challenging world of fast casual restaurants, there are some fascinating applications for people tracking, applications that can really make a competitive difference and provide competitive advantage, not just during this time of COVID, but going forward too. Thanks for listening.
That's a wrap on today's edition of the Research Business Daily Report. For those of you who don't watch us every day, shame on you. Every RBDR video report presents news, insights, and commentary that you just won't find anywhere else. And if you give us a regular check, you're going to find that to be the case. And in fact, we think that you'll want to watch us, and your appreciation for what we are giving you will grow. And if that happens, perhaps you'll consider becoming an RBDR Patreon supporter. And you can do that at patreon.com/RBDR. Hoping you have a good research day. We'll be looking for you to be back with us tomorrow. And until then, please stay safe.